Hey everyone, it's Eccentric Mo here, and I've had a couple big trans days just trying to get my name and gender changed, and so I just thought I'd go ahead and make a couple videos about that because I didn't know what to expect. I was kind of figuring people would be jerks to me, and I was nervous. I went out with a suit of armor on just in case. Um, and I made sure I had every letter I could possibly need. I had the letter from my psychiatrist, I had a letter from the surgeon, and I had a letter from the doctor who's prescribing hormones. So I was as prepared as I could be, mentally and on paper, as far as I think. Uh, anyway, probably about the only thing I didn't have was some sort of order for gender change from the court, but I couldn't find any recent links for that in Illinois, so I just gave up and figured I had what I needed. Okay, so moving on. Now remember, I do live in Illinois. I live in northern Illinois in the crappy little county of McHenry, full of a lot of hicks. So that's where this is coming from. Okay, so first, obviously, I had to go to my hearing for name change. And that was no biggie. I mean, I showed up at the order, the judge signed it, and I got certified copies. The name I'm changing to is gender neutral, so I didn't really get any weird looks or anything. Even though I was presenting male, but even my male presentation is kind of casual and I think androgynous enough that if people weren't sure, they could just be happy and tell themselves whatever they needed to. I don't care. I don't really talk to anybody. I just, judge calls you up, confirms your name, and you say, yeah, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, and that's me. Gosh darn it. And then they sign your papers. So that was easy. Next, I went to the DMV, and I was a little afraid to go to the DMV, but I went, and I had my letters and ID and everything ready with my signed court order, certified copy. So right away when I walked in, there was a bit of a line, and then the guy called me up. I showed him all my paperwork, and then he showed me where to go. And I got a very nice lady to help me, and she made sure all of my changes went through. She saw what I was doing, and she noticed the date on everything. She's like, "Oh, big day." So she was just kind of like, whatever makes you happy. So that was nice. You don't know if people are just going to be like, like, okay, I guess I'll help you. Or if they're going to be pleasant. And she was very pleasant. So I thanked her for being pleasant. And then I got my picture taken and I got my new ID with my name and my gender. And I was just grinning like an idiot walking out of there looking at my license. And I looked young. And so people were like, "Congrats, man!" Like they thought I was like a 16-year-old kid who just got his license, and I was like, "Thanks!" Like you have no idea what you're congratulating me for, but I'll take it. So that was kind of funny and pleasant. All right, so then I went to the Social Security building, which I was also not looking forward to. I was like, "Okay, the DMV was cool. That's great, awesome. All right, on to Social Security. Let me just put my armor back on here, right?" Okay, so I took my number, whatever. Guy calls me up, and I told him, I'm here, I'm getting a legal name and gender change. I need my social security card changed. He goes, okay, let me see what you have. So I sent him the form. I think it's like the SS5 that I filled out already, and I had already made copies for myself too. So I came prepared with that. And then of course, I had a certified copy of my order for name change signed by the judge, and then I had the three letters from my doctors. And he kind of took one look at the letters and was like, they need to be originals. And only one of them was an original because the other doctors emailed and faxed me the letters so I could do this faster. And so I was a little disappointed. I felt a little brushed off, but he's like, just bring in the originals and you'll be set. And he's like, do you want to still do the name change? And I'm like, no, I want to do it all at once, so I'll just come again next week with the original letters. So I felt a little brushed off, but he wasn't really rude or anything. I mean, he couldn't help me, so I don't know what I was expecting. Okay. Then I called Bank of America because I have all these credit cards I had to change over. And, oh, well, first actually I stopped at my bank and I had another lady helping me there who was pretty nice. And she just kind of didn't really care. She just did her job and she was pleasant. She didn't really say anything specific about the change. Um, but yeah, she updated everything and she got me my new cards, and so that was good. Then I called Bank of America, and they're like, oh, well, you have to do this in person. You have to go in store with all of your paperwork. And I was like, okay, I guess I'll do that tomorrow. So then I called American Express, kind of expecting them to tell me the same thing, but they're like, oh yeah, the guy on the phone, he emailed me the form, so I got the email before I even got off the phone with him. It was just a name change document, so I filled that out. He said, yeah, fill that out, and then, you just upload it to our online system. And so, and just include like a letter in the upload saying you're also doing a gender change, and we should change that too because we don't have a separate form for the gender change, and that should be fine. And then I had to include like in a copy of my updated ID with it. So that was easy. That was easy. Bank of America. Okay, so like I said, the next day I went into Bank of America because they told me I had to go in person. I brought all of my paperwork, and then he said he updated everything in the system. And he wasn't really that pleasant, but he wasn't really rude. He just kind of did his job, and I just kind of felt like he was looking at me weird. Whatever. But, he said he updated everything, but he couldn't, he wasn't authorized to send me the card. So I'd have to call customer service and have them issue me the card that way. So I did that. So then when I got my card a week later, the name was totally made up. It was not the name on my ID, nor was it my old name either. It was half my old name and half my new name. They just like put my new first name at the end of my old first name. So it was totally made up. And so I was like, what the hell? So that was annoying. So I have that to fix with BOA. And I still didn't get my social security card, so